Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack the sources you provide to get to the heart of what's important.
Yep, we take that stack of material you send us and really zero in on the key bits, the surprising facts that matter.
And today, we are diving deep into a whole stack of stuff all about, well, leveraging the content you've already made on TikTok for success over on Instagram.
Think of it like a shortcut, getting more eyes, more engagement on the great work you're already putting out there.
Our mission, like always in these deep dives, is to sift through all this source material, cut through the noise, and pull out the most actionable stuff, the real opportunities.
So you can get informed, fast, and basically make your content work smarter, not harder.
Because you've put time into those TikToks, right? A lot of time. So why wouldn't you want them working for you everywhere they can?
Exactly.
If you're looking for ways to amplify your profile, reach totally new audiences, maybe even, skyrocket your growth, understanding how to repurpose well is key. And speaking of amplifying your profile, skyrocketing your reach.
Sure.
If you really are ready to take that growth up a notch, you might want to check out rapidboost.net.
Ah, yeah.
Their approach seems to help quite a few creators hit those milestones faster and, well, smarter. Worth a look if that's your goal.
It's about taking that first spark, that creative idea, and letting it catch fire everywhere else. Maximizing it.
Okay, so let's really get into this material and repurposing TikTok for Instagram.
Yeah.
The sources kick things off with the why. And it's pretty compelling, very data-driven.
Yeah, what's fascinating, and the sources really highlight this, is that mastering just one platform, well, it's just not enough anymore.
Right.
But this idea of cross-pollination, it's not like a nice-to-have. The sources basically say it's essential now if you want maximum reach, maximum impact.
And there's solid data in this stack backing that up. I saw a Sprout social report from 2023 mentioned. It found 67%, that's almost 7 out of 10 marketers, saying that sharing across platforms substantially increases their reach.
Substantially, that's a big word. And it makes sense because the audiences, well, they're huge and sometimes different.
Yeah, TikTok's got its billion-plus users, massive. But Instagram, over 2 billion.
2 billion. And the crucial thing for this conversation is that Instagram users are actively looking for short-form video right now. They want Reels.
Which is perfect timing, really, because that's where your TikToks can just slot right in, find a new home. There was Hootsuite data, too, right, from 2023.
Spot on. It showed Instagram Reels getting 22% higher engagement rates compared to other video on Instagram.
22%. That's not small potatoes. That's a significant bump.
It points to this massive potential just waiting there. And repurposing, it's not just about saving time, though. Let's be honest, that's a huge plus.
Oh, yeah.
It's also about building something scalable, getting your brand message out there consistently, meeting people where they actually hang out online.
So the bottom line from this first part is, if you're not repurposing your good TikToks, you're kind of leaving growth on the table, like potentially big growth.
You're not getting the most bang for your creative buck, basically.
Okay.
You're
So the why is clear. It makes total sense. Now the how, this is where it gets really practical and maybe a bit trickier.
A little bit, because the sources really hammer this home.
Yeah.
It is not just copy pasting. You gotta adapt. Adapt with intent.
Meaning you need to understand the platforms are different beasts.
Totally. TikTok is often about fast trends, specific effects. It can feel more raw, more casual, Instagram, especially the main feed, maybe Reels too, sometimes it can lean a bit more towards aesthetics, Polish. And while Reels are vertical, often similar length to TikToks, the details matter. Like where you put text overlays, people expect them in different places.
Okay.
And the big one, sound. Licensing.
Ah, yes, the music trap.
It can absolutely trip you up, that trending TikTok audio. Probably licensed just for TikTok, use it on Instagram, and bam, muted video, maybe reach gets squashed, or worse, copyright flags.
So what's the advice there?
The sources strongly suggest using platform-neutral music if you can find it, or just add the sound directly inside Instagram's editor. Safer bet. Helps discoverability too.
Got it. Play it safe with sound. What other core adaptation tips did the sources pull out for turning TikToks into Instagram gold?
Number one, probably the most cited, remove that TikTok watermark, the little logo that bounces around.
Yeah.
Instagram's algorithm isn't a fan. It wants to keep people on Instagram, so it tends to, let's say, quietly deprioritize stuff that screams, I came from somewhere else.
So find an app to remove it cleanly, like Capwing or others mentioned.
Exactly. And then captions. You can't just blame the same caption over word for word, can you?
Doesn't feel right. Different vibe.
Different interaction style. Instagram often needs a punchier hook right at the start for the feed preview. Maybe more concise descriptions for Reels, the sources say. Tweak them. Make them feel native to Insta. Maybe use different hashtags, different calls to action.
Okay, watermarks gone, captions tweaked. What else? Thumbnails.
Oh, absolutely crucial. That little preview image for Reels and how it looks on your main grid. Super important.
That's the scroll stopper, right?
That's exactly it. A good custom cover image makes someone pause and actually click play. The sources really emphasize this.
There was a great case study mentioned, wasn't there, at the Planned Parent?
Yeah, really good example. They had this TikTok about propagation basics that did well.
So instead of just uploading it straight to Instagram.
They did the work, swapped the music for something in the Instagram library, changed the caption quite a bit to fit an Instagram hashtag challenge that was going on.
And the results.
Hmm.
Pretty impressive, according to the sources.
Doubled their normal audience reach on that reel and got like a 15% follower boost in just 1 week.
Wow. Okay, so that really shows thinking native, even with repurposed stuff, pays off. Big time.
It's not just about getting it on the platform, it's making it feel like it belongs there.
Okay, but wait, there's more. The sources didn't just stop at Reels and feed posts. This is where it got even more interesting for me. They talked about transforming TikToks for other Instagram formats too.
Yeah, this is about really maximizing that original piece of content, slicing and dicing it, you know?
Instagram Stories feels like the most obvious next step.
Definitely. Stories have that authentic, immediate kind of behind-the-scenes vibe, right? Which lines up pretty well with a lot of TikTok stuff.
So take a longer TikTok, like a tutorial or a day in the life.
And chop it up. Break it into those quick 15-second story chunks, sequence them.
And then layer on the Instagram stuff, polls, question stickers, links.
Exactly. Make it interactive. Make it feel like a story. So that day in the life TikTok becomes maybe 5 or 6 story slides. You add some text commentary, maybe a sticker, ask a question at the end, engage people.
And saving those as highlights.
Super important for longevity. Creates evergreen content right there on your profile. New visitors can find it easily, like building mini resource hubs.
Okay, that makes sense. But carousels, that feels like a bigger jump from vertical video. How does that work?
This is where you get creative. The sources say carousels are actually brilliant for delivering value in little bites. Some people just prefer scrolling through images rather than watching a video, especially in the main feed.
So, good for how-tos. Listicles.
Perfect for them. Or even quick tips, maybe even short rants. Break down the core points from your TikTok into multiple slides.
Like a top 5 Canva hacks TikTok. Each hack gets its own slide in a carousel.
Exactly that example from the sources. Each slide could have a quick visual, maybe a screenshot from the video, and short, punchy text explaining that specific hack.
That Smart delivers the same info, different package, and there's an algorithm benefit too.
Yep. More slides means people spend longer looking at your post. That signals, hey, this is valuable to Instagram, potentially boosting you in the Explore tab. Plus, carousels get saved and shared a lot.
Okay, interesting. The sources also touched on using Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Kind of expanding on a TikTok.
Yeah, if you have a TikTok that generated a ton of comments or questions, or maybe you jumped on a trend that has, like, deeper implications, Instagram Live is perfect.
Go deeper. Have a real discussion.
Totally. Host a Q&A, unpack the nuances, have a real-time chat with your audience about it.
So like that quick 30-second book review TikTok.
Could become a 15-minute Instagram Live, talking about the book's themes, answering questions from viewers. Absolutely.
And that helps build connection. Right. Real-time interaction.
Huge for connection. Plus, Instagram notifies followers when you go live, giving you that little organic reach boost.
Oh, yeah.
And you can chop up snippets from the live later.
And turn those into reels or stories. Ah, the cycle continues.
Looping the content. Exactly.
The guides were mentioned too.
Yeah.
I feel like those are often overlooked.
Very underutilized, but the sources say they're great for organizing stuff, especially if you have a series on TikTok, like a weekly theme or a multi-part tutorial.
So you gather the related Instagram posts or reels you made based on that TikTok series.
Compile them into a guide. Add a little intro, maybe some extra notes or bonus tips for each piece in the guide.
Giving that exclusive Instagram value again.
Right. Encourages people to explore more of your content, spend more time on your profile, positions you as an expert on that topic.
They even talked about repurposing from TikTok live sessions, not just using live to expand on TikToks.
Yeah, if you do regular lives on TikTok, you can download the full recordings.
And then edit them down.
Edit them into shorter thematic clips. Pull out the best Q&A moments, the really interesting bits, the actionable advice. Turn those into Instagram stories or reels.
And archive them as highlights again.
Absolutely. Creates this awesome searchable library of your expertise. The sources had that example of a coach turning TikTok live Q&As into Ask Me Anything highlights on Instagram. Great way to attract followers looking for that info.
Okay, one more format. Behind the scenes, using the less polished stuff from TikTok.
Leaning into that authentic TikTok vibe, bloopers, outtakes, the funny mistakes. TikTok culture often embraces that, right?
For sure.
So the sources suggest editing quick compilations of that stuff for Instagram, maybe a reel like what went wrong filming this TikTok, or a carousel of funny onset pics or moments.
That really humanizes you, doesn't it?
Totally. Makes you relatable, boosts views, saves maybe, fosters that sense of I get to see the real stuff, turns your brand into more of a journey people follow.
Okay, wow. That's a lot of ways to repurpose. So practically speaking, how do you actually do this? The sources laid out a kind of workflow, right? A process.
Yeah, pretty clear one. Step 1, audit. Look at your TikToks. Which ones did well? Which ones fit your Instagram goals?
Find your winners, basically. Then decide, what's the best Instagram format for this specific piece? Reel, story sequence, carousel, live topic.
Right. Match the content to the format. Then comes the edit. Remove the watermark, adjust the length, check the aspect ratio, rewrite the caption, deal with the sound, all that adaptation stuff we talked about.
Don't forget adding the Instagram-specific things, stickers, polls, Insta Music, that custom cover.
Crucial step. Then schedule it. Use your Instagram Insights data to figure out the best time to post for your audience.
And finally, track it. After it's posted, go back to Insights. How did it do? Reach, engagement, shares, saves. What worked, what didn't.
It's that feedback loop. Post, analyze, learn, refine, systematically.
Makes sense. And the sources had some tips to make it all feel less daunting, more manageable.
Yeah, a few good ones. Batching was big. Don't just do one TikTok at a time. Set aside a block of time, maybe once a week, and repurpose several TikToks into various Instagram formats all at once.
Create a backlog. Smart.
And use tools. Automation helps. Things like Later, Buffer, Planoly were mentioned. They help with scheduling, analyzing, streamlines the whole thing.
Stay on trend, but make it your own.
Yes, don't just copy trends blindly. Put your unique spin on them. Authenticity still matters, even when repurposing.
And the big one, experiment. Don't expect everything to be a smash hit.
Absolutely. You have to test things. Try different formats, different editing styles, different captions. See what your specific audience responds to on Instagram. Tweak, learn, keep trying.
That constant testing and learning seems key.
It's how you really nail it down for your account.
Okay, so wrapping this up, this deep dive really makes it clear, doesn't it? Repurposing TikTok for Instagram isn't about being lazy. Not at all.
It's strategic. It's smart. It's about amplifying your best work and making sure it connects properly, natively on different platforms.
By taking those TikToks and thoughtfully adapting them for Reels, yes, but also stories, carousels, guides, even using live content. You can reach new people, get deeper engagement, and really boost your presence online.
Without necessarily doubling the amount of content you have to create from scratch. That's the beauty of it.
So the key takeaways from all this material seem to be: get creative with the reformatting, really look at your analytics to see what's working, and keep the quality consistent.
Do that. Apply these kinds of strategies. Use those workflows, and your reach, your reputation, it can really take off. Your content deserves to be seen, and this is a powerful set of tools to make that happen.
Absolutely. So here's something to think about as you go forward with this. If repurposing lets creators be effectively everywhere at once, what does that do to the idea of building a native community? You know, one deeply rooted in a single platform. Can true native content even exist anymore when everything is so easily adapted and spread? Is that changing how we build online communities?
That's a really interesting question to chew on. Definitely something to keep exploring as you try these strategies out for yourself.